What's up, everyone? Welcome to Bluegrass State of Mind, the show where three college roommates talk life, sports, and all the ridiculous things that happen in an apartment we like to refer to as Room 302. We're bringing you stories, hot takes, and the kind of late-night debates that probably should have stayed in the group chat.
So grab your headphones, sit back, and get ready for a wild ride through our past college life, sports, and everything in between. Let's get into it. This is Bluegrass State of Mind.
What's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Bluegrass State of Mind. Thank you all for joining in. If you are watching us or listening to us on the podcast, as you can see, we have a guest with us tonight. If you are watching, if you are listening, you will be able to hear a new voice. Actually, I don't even know how to put this. How do we want to put this, guys? A barely of a voice. We got
a new voice that sounds like he barely has a voice.
Yeah. But Mr. Dylan Beckham, Dylan, kind of give just a little small intro of yourself, who you are, like where you're from, how do we know you, just something short and sweet, and then we'll get into it.
Well, I'm originally from Bowling Green. Met these guys in college, played basketball with Mason and Dylan, and Colton was just kind of along for the ride. He was across the hall, but became really good friends with all the guys that Mason and Dylan roomed with. I currently live in Marion County, middle of nowhere, central Kentucky. About all you need to know. Not much going on over here.
Yeah. Also coaches the basketball team, so still has some connections there with basketball. We always talk, big Kentucky fan. That's why we brought him on here. We was always and DB actually has a really rich history with X, better known as Twitter, with Matt Jones and Drew, and like it's actually, I mean, he's very popular in that atmosphere. They really like him. So, but let's get right into last night's game. So obviously or Wednesday night, we did go live talking about the Kentucky-Missouri game. Not going to go over really stats. We've done that. We've talked about it, but we're just going to highlight some of the stuff. But Missouri comes to Rupp Arena, defeats Kentucky with a score of 73-68. This is a historic program win for University of Missouri. It's their first win ever in Lexington. They previously were 0-9. Missouri closed the game on a 15-2 run in the final 4 minutes and 30 seconds to take the lead and hold on. At that moment, Kentucky was up 8. I think it was off an Otega Owe 3 or Cam Williams 3, and they called a timeout. Yeah. Then right away, we have a lot of turnovers. Yeah, just some messy basketball the last 4.5 minutes. Kentucky begins SEC play 0-2. Mason, is this for the first time ever? Is that what we said, that you've said?
In 20 years.
In 20 years.
05 and 06.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So we got a lot to, talk about. DB, you wasn't on our live, so, it'd be a new perspective for you. Just some quick thoughts. It might be redundant, but, hearing it from a new voice, kind of what was your just like, I guess, biggest takeaway? Let's just do one big takeaway for you for the game.
It's like the uncertainty of what Pope is trying to do. It's like he's questioning it himself. How do you close the game with Brandon Garrison and Colin Chandler? JQ not touching the floor in the final 8 minutes. Granted, JQ didn't have the best offensive night, but you know what he's bringing defensively. And the lineup you trust as a guy you had to bench earlier in the year, that's what I'm saying. I don't know if he's starting to spaz out and the pressure's getting to him, but it's really just a shock factor that when I watch the end of that game, it's like, what can you say? There's no excuse to lose a game. I mean, when you let a team go on a 15-2 run and you make no adjustments in that final 5 minutes, you scored 2 points with a $20 million roster in 5 minutes against a team who is obviously I wouldn't say less athletic, but on paper, you're thinking there's a reason Kentucky was a 12-point favorite. So I don't know what his thought process is. Is he freaking out? Is the pressure getting to him? Is he over-analytical? What's going on?
Yeah. I mean, that's fair, and, this it's kind of like what we talked about last night, Mason. Mason, we talked about, like, when has Mark Pope faced adversity? For the ones who didn't listen to our live, kind of, talk just a little bit about that because, like I said, I don't want us to be repetitive because we're going to have a lot to unfold here tonight. But like, talk a little bit about that. Like, has he faced this? I mean, he may have faced adversity in his coaching career. I'm sure he has, but to this extent, to this level.
Yeah. And that's, like what I said last night on the live was, you hear people say all the time, you really see people's true colors. You see what they're truly made of whenever they finally hit adversity. And I think for the first time in his life, this is the biggest adversity he's ever hit, right? He understands how Kentucky fans are. He understands the culture. He understands everything about being at this place. But now he's really starting to feel it because he's not performing. He's not showing the ability to be able to adapt and get this team to perform. And like you said, DB, I think that at this point, I think it's weighing too heavily on him, and he has no idea how to get this turned around, and it just keeps compiling on top of one another. One game after another, he's searching for answers, but he has no idea what to do at this point. And I think a lot of that comes back to him just being so worked up over this and letting his emotions get in the way that he can't even think clearly because I think he does have a good basketball mind, but this team's not what he's used to for his offensive philosophy, and he hasn't made adjustments with that.
Colton, what was your biggest takeaway for the ones who maybe didn't, listen to our live? If you had to take one big takeaway from what we kind of went over on our live and, having a night to sleep and today thinking about it, maybe because I know I did. I thought about it all day long, different things in prep for tonight and also just, like what truly happened on Wednesday night. But one big takeaway, what was it?
Yeah, my biggest takeaway is that last 10 seconds, right? Where there's a big knock on Cal was like his end of games, like play calls. A big knock on, like a big praise for Pope was how much better of an X and O's guys he is. And, it's one thing if you only got 2 seconds to throw it in or something like that. But when you have 10 seconds and that's the very best play, you call a timeout. It wasn't even like you just run up and you had a timeout you called, you had 10 seconds to come out of that timeout and run a play, and that's what happened. And at that point, like that to me is supposed to be his strength. But if that's the best play call we have after 10 seconds, then like that's what worries me because if he can't even do that, then I just like I feel like we've kind of determined that right now he's not the best recruiter. So, and we don't know really if he's going to get the best, like be the best leader, like get these guys to be with the best effort. We've questioned effort now for 2 seasons. There's been multiple games across the 2 seasons that we've questioned effort. So if he's not getting the most effort out of these guys, he's not recruiting. The one thing I thought we could kind of lean our hat on was that, his X's and O's and the ability to play call. But the way that the offense has struggled this year, and that last 10 seconds was a prime example to me of like what the entire year as a company we've looked so lost. And if he don't have a better answer than that play call, then I just don't know what he's bringing to the table right now.
Yeah, no, I agree. DB, can you hear us right now?
Yeah.
I don't think so.
Okay. I don't think he just texted me, said am I in? So maybe we can get him back in here. But if not, the show continues. So for those who are listening, let's kind of just do a basic kind of before we get into our segments of what we're going to talk about with tonight, and a lot of it's going to be just unpacking the future right now. But let's go ahead and explain like where. Let's take a poll and let's just be honest. Going into this season, or not this season, going into last season, Mark Pope, was he the right hire? And don't look at it like for right now, like what he's done right now, at the time when we hired Mark Pope. And I will start. I was very skeptical. At first, I was like, I don't know, but I did. I did think it was the right move for us to hire Mark Pope. And I'm not asking the question, was it time to hire someone new? I'm asking specifically for Mark Pope. Was he the right person? There you go, DB. You back. All right. So
Wi-Fi.
yeah. So DB, what we're doing right now is I'm asking you all last year, before not even thinking about what Mark Pope done last year and this year, was Mark Pope the right hire? And I'm going to start, and I'm going to say yes. I thought Mark Pope was the right hire. I was skeptical at first, but I did think he was the right hire once I got on board. Colton, I'm going to ask you next because I have a feeling, and I'm hoping I'll get the answer that I expect. Did you think Mark Pope was the right hire?
No, I didn't. And
Okay.
just quick thought. Do you want me to actually explain why, or you just want me to
Well,
go with a
we'll get
no?
into that a little. I'm just trying to take a poll. So, people, so I was a
Okay.
yes, I was a no.
No, I don't.
Mason, what was your you?
Yes, but I have
Yes.
my concerns too, but we'll get into that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think people knew that, us three, if you've listened to us at all. DB, what about you?
No.
Okay, so that's good. We got it. We got a balance. We got 2 yeses and 2 nos. So this is what leads me to this. So at this point right now, Mark Pope's getting a lot of heat. The Kentucky fan base, it almost seems like we are right where we were at the end of 2023 with Calipari, and the fan base starting to slowly shift. Like there's a lot of tension. DB, do you think that it is fair for Kentucky fans right now to be critical of Mark Pope to the extent that they are? And obviously, you have some who are saying fire him. It's time to fire him. You have us who I think for a majority of us, yes, like there's going to have to be some changes. Some things don't have if something doesn't change itself for this year and next year. What is your thoughts right now with the Kentucky fan base? Because that's kind of what we're about to talk about.
Well, I mean, you can't fire the guy right now. You can't do it right now. But it goes back to what he said when he got hired. He said, if I'm not living up to the standard, I'll leave. I'll walk out. He put it on himself. He told the fan base he knows these expectations, blah, blah, blah. And here he is, and it's what he's saying in the post games too. It's just like, oh, well, yeah, we got to be better. Oh, we got to be more efficient. He's not giving the fan base what they need. People complain about Calipari overanalyzing and being like, well, we're young, this and that. I mean, Pope's sitting here doing the same thing. And it goes back to, do I think, yeah, he's a nice guy, but to be the head coach at Kentucky, you got to have the Calipari, you got to have the Bruce Pearl, you got to have the Tom Izzo. You got to be the guy. You got to be the guy who is just going to pretty much fire back at the fan base.
Yeah.
Pope's just like, oh yeah, bring it on me. I deserve it. He's just kind of like secluded into a hole saying, throw rocks on me. Can't do that. You're showing weakness. You're showing weakness.
And ultimately, you don't need that as your leader at any school, but especially the University of Kentucky. So I'm going to unpack what my thoughts. I've had time to write down some stuff, and then Mason, Colton, I want y'all to stop me whenever, and then I'm going to hand it to you all. All right, so here's where I'm at, and I sent y'all a message this morning. That's kind of what I'm going to talk a little bit about. My question to those right now who are the fans who are saying that, like we're being way too critical on Mark Pope, or the ones who are like, y'all are crazy. Like, why? I mean, he's only in year 2. How can we not be realistic about what we're seeing unfold right now? I mean, ask yourselves, okay, we haven't won a single big-time game yet. I don't count St. John as a big-time game. They were preseason, 4, but, like, they're not good. They're not. We've been down 20-plus points to 4, I think, of our 7 biggest matchups. We've been down by 20-plus points. We're 0-2 in conference play. We just lost at home, probably one of the worst home losses we've had in a while. We consistently look disorganized. Our coach looks confused. And on top of that, we have 0 recruits coming in for next year. So why are our fans suddenly fired up about this? Well, it's because we're seeing it unfold right now. Like, and I just don't understand how that is an overreaction. I think that's a realistic observation. Is that fair to say, Colton and Mason? That's a realistic observation for as fans to look at and say, okay, yeah, we got to be critical. I mean, this is what we're seeing.
100%. You have to be.
Mason, I mean, do you think like it's an overreaction, or is it realistic and fair?
No, it's not an overreaction. I mean, it's 100% fair. It comes back to the thing, like, yes, he had a great year last year, but like we've taken 3-4 steps back this year. And that's my biggest concern. I mentioned a little bit last night on the live, and I've kind of touched on it a little bit already, but like I think Pope's a great offensive mind, but at this point, he has shown no ability to adjust, right? He has a lineup that doesn't necessarily fit his offensive philosophy, but great coaches are going to be able to do good things with different style teams. Like, he didn't build a great roster, but you still got to be able to go out there and find ways to win. Like I said, like that St. John's game, we made it ugly. We were physical, we were athletic. Yes, we may not hit a bunch of shots, but he's got to figure something out to make this team competitive, and that's what scares me the most going forward, and that's why I'm being super critical right now, is because, and I think it's all deserved.
Colton, and what I cannot stand hearing the person who would say, okay, well, yeah, I'm not okay with losing either, but I'm not panicking right now. My question to them is, okay, well then, when is the right time to panic? Like, when is the right time to panic then? Like, with the start that we've had, we're 9-6. Like, when is it fair? Is it going to be not till next year? Like, at that point, like, what are we doing? And let's be honest, I have a question for everybody. If Mark Pope, because I genuinely think no, I don't think my answer to this is no. If Mark Pope wins against Missouri on Wednesday and beats North Carolina, just those two games, is the heat still the same?
No, not at all. I mean, there's still a little bit there.
It's not the same.
A little.
I
Yeah,
was,
no, I agree a
I was
little.
at the North Carolina game, and it was one of those games where you're just kind of watching a battle of two not very mediocre teams. What I think, two mediocre teams, and we still lost the game. But no, I don't think the heat's as much. I just don't think there's as much excitement, right? Like, you're not as much on him, but you're probably not being like, all right, well, we're doing okay. Like, I don't think there's championship aspirations, though. You can't get beat by 40 to Gonzaga and think championship.
Well, and it also it goes. Let me do this, and I'll give it to you, Mason. It's something that you alluded to before, Mason, and I want to hear you and DB's thoughts on this. I also can't stand the argument of people, and I think the people who say this, they don't know if they don't know basketball or if it's just something like they just don't know what it is. But whenever they're like, well, maybe, it's not all Mark Pope's fault. I mean, it's the players. The players are
exactly what I was about to say.
Maybe they're just bad. Well, maybe they are bad. But guess who was in charge of getting those players and building this roster? Mark Pope. So again, another reason it goes back to him.
Listen, yes, I agree. And even if, some of these players haven't performed maybe what we thought they would this season, or they haven't had greatest start to the season. But we have seen flashes of this team. And as a leader of your team, if you're just walking around, I've said this, if you're just walking around, moping around, right? Like, Colton, Dylan, we're in sales. What if our leaders just walking around moping around? We have a bad month. I don't really know what we're gonna do. Maybe it'll turn around. I hope it does, but they just have a bad attitude. Don't really do anything to try to help you fix it. Like, all that does is just feed down the totem pole, right? If you're up here and you're not doing anything, everybody else below you is gonna feed off that. He's got to have the ability to be able to keep people positive, get that energy out of them, get that effort out of them, keep them rolling. You're gonna hit tough stretches during the season, but like, the second half of the St. John's game, like, we saw how good this team can be. We put up 53 points in the second half against a physical, athletic St. John's team who is pretty good defensively. And where's that at? Like, why can we not get more of that? Why do we get one half out of every 15 games that we can see that? And that all comes back to Pope being able to just start at the top, stop moping around, stop just giving these short answers about, he said something in his press conference last night. We're doing these things in practice. It's just not translating, and I don't know why. Well, it's your job to figure out why. Like, how have you not figured that out
Right?
yet? Do something different, dude.
DB, what age do you coach?
Varsity.
Varsity. Okay, so let's just take varsity. This is alluding to something that you've said as well, the lack of control that Mark Pope has in this team. I want you right now, DB, to think, if one of your players, you all lose, I don't know how good you are, but let's just say, around your district, the expectations, I mean, obviously you expect them to be good. Like that's any program. I mean, for the most part, majority. Okay. Let's say that one of your players goes home that night and posts highlights of them after getting beat in a home district game. And you're the player who's doing that is posting his highlights.
That's one of the bottom teams, right?
Against one of those bottom teams. 30 minutes after the game. And then also you have another player who goes on and is, wanting to sell merchandise. Now I know that's like a little bit, that's probably not going to happen, but it's one thing for a high schooler to, and it's another thing for a college player to do it. But at the University of Kentucky, I know you know what I'm talking about. Talk about that. We've not even talked about that. So for the ones to help you all understand what we're talking about here, last night we had two players of our own, one which went and posted highlights. And I'm just going to add that there's not going to be many highlights of him throughout the whole entire season. There wasn't many last night either. And
He
then
also
one goes and
posted,
starts.
did you see his caption? Just having a little fun. Like, bro, are you serious?
And if I know you the way I know you, DB, I mean, that's got to run all over you. Like, what are we doing? Like, what was your thoughts on that when you started seeing that come out?
Dude, he's done. I'm the coach. He's done. He's gone. You're out of here. I'm taking your money too. The thing about it is, like,
taking it back.
but the thing is, like, do I blame him or do I blame the guy who's leading them? What type of example is he set? We're 17 games in and he's just going to keep saying, we got to figure it out. We're going to figure it out. Brother, it's January. All right. There is no more figuring out. All right. Like, you already had to have obviously the first stint you had with this kid didn't work. He just needs to be done. Put him in street clothes, sit him on the bench.
Put him down there with AJ and Trent Noah.
That goes back to like he does not have the right mindset to coach a powerhouse like Kentucky. He doesn't.
Too nice.
He doesn't have what.
Yeah, and as we're coming a full circle moment here, we're coming back to the main question. What we're talking about here is the fan base, and like, is it too much to put on Mark Pope right now, Colton? The biggest question of all is if Kentucky fans are saying, pump the brakes, guys, pump the brakes. Like, what are we doing? Let's take a step back. If we're pumping the brakes, to me, you are basically saying we're going to lower the expectations. Are we okay with that? Are we okay with that? Are you okay with that? Ask yourself that. If you're listening, like, are you okay with lowering those expectations? Colton, as a Kentucky fan, should that be something we should even be contemplating? Like, is that something that we should even be thinking about? Is lowering, like, hey, we're going to pump the brakes here at Kentucky, because right now the national media and the national televised stuff that we're getting is a bad look for us because of how our fan base is. Because that's a realistic thing that people are talking about a lot all the time online.
Yeah, no, you can't lower expectations, and it made me mad last year. Look, yes, did we get to a Sweet 16 last year? We did. Did he probably achieve with the talent he had? Yeah, he probably did. But still, it's like everyone was just like perfectly okay with Sweet 16. Yeah, I was excited about it, but no one like really cared that we got killed by our rival in the Sweet 16. Like, at what point are we like, yeah, that's fine though, we made it to the Sweet 16? Like, my knock on last year's team, while yeah, we played much harder, they played much harder than this team does, and they probably overachieved with the talent they had. I still got upset with the random bad SEC losses we had, and I got upset with just watching the team and being like, look, our ceiling is still just here. Like, that's what I truly felt about that team last year. Like I said, I felt like we weren't better than we beat Duke. I don't think we were better than Duke. I really didn't think we were better than Duke last year. Like, even though we beat them, I think if we played them out of 10 times, they beat us 8. But we won that game. And I just hate watching a Kentucky team that I know that even at our very best, there's 10 to 12 teams better than us in the country, which is crazy. Right? Maybe we don't play it, but at our very best, there should not be that many teams that are better than us. And this year, at our very best, there's probably 20 teams better than us, 25 teams better than us. So, like, when the ceiling's that low and people start lowering expectations, like, it's not Kentucky anymore. Like, it's not. Like, at what point are you just okay with Sweet 16s and winning a tournament game, right? I get that people get mad because we didn't with Cal. That's why you pushed him out. But then all of a sudden, that doesn't mean that you're supposed to be just okay with 1 or 2 tournament wins. Like, we're Elite 8, like Final Four championship type standard, and I
Man,
just
if you push a guy
um,
like Cal out, your expectations
you,
got to be the same. He won a
right,
dang
like that's
national championship.
that's what I said. If you're going to run a Hall of Famer out of town, you have to 110% know that the next guy coming in is going to be better or is just as good. And you did that, and you did not have that guy ready. You did not have that guy in your back pocket to know that you were bringing in a guy that was going to be just as good. You cannot run a Hall of Famer out of town and then not have someone that you know 100%. And you brought in a guy that hadn't won a tournament game, had not won a single NCAA tournament game. What were you doing?
So I want to.
I mean,
No, I agree 100%. I mean, I think you're spot on. I want to close with this, and I want everybody to chip in after this. So last night, we had a lot of people talking about NIL with this team, talking about, like saying like all they're doing it's the money. Then today, I'm reading and seeing stuff still about people like. And so I wrote something down, and I'm gonna read it because I gathered my thoughts, and here's what I've come up with. So I want y'all's thoughts on this. So this is for those who are saying, well, these kids only care about the money. That's why they just care about the money. I don't agree with that statement at all. And here's why. Okay. So has the NIL made college basketball, the landscape, harder to manage? Absolutely. I think it's absolutely harder to manage. But saying players only care about money kind of feels like an oversimplification to me. Is that true for some players? Yes, absolutely. Sure. But if that was the main issue, how do we explain all these other teams that spent significant amounts of money on their rosters and they're still winning? NIL doesn't suddenly remove your competitiveness, DB. It doesn't suddenly remove pride. It doesn't suddenly remove a desire to win, Colton. Programs that are organized, they're accountable, and they're well coached, they are finding ways to make NIL work. The problems are not just money, it's how you build a roster, it's how your expectations are set, and ultimately it's how the team is managed by the leader himself in Coach Mark Pope. So blaming this NIL and accusing players of only caring about money, it just feels like an excuse. It truly is. It avoids the harder conversations about your leader, the structure that was built around this roster, and the direction of this program right now. And then I'm going to throw out this. So I looked it up. The top 9 basketball teams this year who spent the most money on their rosters, starting with Kentucky. This is in no order, but we know Kentucky did spend the most. For that, a lot of people are saying so. Kentucky, we're 9-6 and we are 0-2. Indiana is 12-3 and 3-1. Arkansas is 12-3. They are 2-0 in conference play. BYU 14-1. They're 2-0 in conference play. Duke 14-1, 3-0 in conference play. Louisville 11-4 with Mikael Brown, their stud, who has been hurt and still is 11-4, 1-2 in conference play. Michigan's 14-0, 4-0. St. John's is the only other team who's kind of is struggling at 10-5 and 3-1 in conference play. And then you have Texas Tech 11-4 and 1-1. Like, how do you explain that?
Start to the top.
Like you said, Dylan, it's not an excuse. It's just people trying to find a little cop out.
Look at Vandy. I mean, let's go to Indiana. Like, Indiana football has a ton of money rolling in. Indiana has been the doormat of college football for 100 years. And they are playing for a college football championship berth tomorrow. Why? Because they hired the right guy who teaches the right things, and controls is kind of a bad word, but he had his team buy into what he was preaching, and he holds them accountable. And I mean, his record proves it. Mark Pope, look at BYU since he left. My goodness. They're a problem.
Yeah.
They are a problem. And, even with the NIL stuff, people are like, oh, JMI. They can't figure it out with Tyron Stokes, blah, blah, blah. List goes on. Will Stein's handpicking who he wants, guys. Getting commits left and right. Obviously, no JMI language problem there.
Yeah, and it is a little different with the college football landscape with
Right,
JMI.
it is. But you can't use that as an excuse. There's no reason not to have one single recruit right now.
Right. No, I agree with that. We've
Yeah.
talked about that a ton. I mean, I'm not
I don't care.
disagreeing with that at all.
I don't care if our budget's $15 million. Just give Tyron Stokes $15 million. You don't have anybody. You don't have anybody.
Did you all see the LSU guy on X? Did y'all see that floating around today? He's a LSU football fan, and he was talking about the LSU's roster, and he was talking about give him the money. Like, I don't know if y'all did any of y'all see that? If not, I'll have to say it's hilarious. I mean, it's like this guy is just like, Lane Kiffin, you came in here. I'm looking at this and I'm all right. But sign that man. He like they was talking about who's the big time quarterback that we missed out that
Levitt.
that Levitt. Yeah, Levitt.
That kid's a problem.
He's like, you don't let him leave campus without a pen in his finger. And he used a lot of different language that I'm using. But he said, man. But I think that it's good conversations to have. It's realistic, and I absolutely think it's needed. And it's not that we're trying to run Mark Pope out because he's doing that on himself. I think it's just
fan base don't even have to do it at this point.
No, and it's just a realistic conversation. But let's move on. So Colton sent in a good question, and some of y'all are gonna be like, "Wow, why are you all already talking about this? Like, what is this really where we're at?" I mean, it's a realistic thing to talk about. It truly is, because right now where we're at, we could miss the tournament. Say we miss the tournament. I agree with every DB, Colton, and Mason. We've all said, like, he's coming back. Like, he's coming back. But after next year, it's a make or break year. And let's say that he doesn't have that make year and he breaks it. Well, then it's time to move on. So then that proposes the question, who are we going to get? Who are we going to look to get, like, realistically? And obviously a lot can change. There will be a lot that changes. But right now, and I don't know how we're going. I know that we didn't word this, I guess, Colton, maybe. I don't know how realistic we're wanting to be, because Colton said if there's anybody that we want. So maybe we could do one that's like, I know you said do, Colton, one that's if we could pick anybody and then like a sleeper. If we want to kind of rearrange that however you all want to do it, like a realistic one and then like anybody we want. But I want to start with you, Colton, since you proposed the question. You can elaborate a little bit more with why you're choosing this person. But kind of talk us through, if you could grab anybody right now, realistically, sleeper, however you want. You just let us know, and each one of us can go real quick, and we can and there might be some that we agree on. I'm sure there will be. But lead us into that.
So my like realistic one and like a bigger name that I would want to get is Todd Golden from Florida. To me, I get it. Florida's not having, but look, you come off a national championship. It's hard to follow up with that. You lose people like Walter Clayton Jr. I mean, look, they're still going to be a tough out. Like, I don't care. They're going to get better. But to me, the best type of coaches right now, I think, are kind of like the John Shires, who are younger. So they have that modernness, but they have that old school kind of attitude, like being under Coach K. If you watch Golden, he gets fiery on the sidelines. Like, he's one of those that I feel like he has that attitude that, like, he don't give a dang. Like, he thinks he's good enough, which is kind of, you have to have that arrogance. We talked about that on the live. And I think he would have that type of attitude to kind of come in. Like, he has that young, like, dynamic with the players. My sleeper, the DB said, give me Kevin Young from BYU. Let's try BYU one more time.
Oh gosh.
Let's get a different one. How about that? Listen, comes from the NBA, dealing with grown men, knowing what to do with grown men, and he's coming. Took them to a Sweet 16 last year. If they don't run into a tush hog, maybe the best 3-point shooting performance I've ever seen from a team in Alabama last year in the Sweet 16. They might go to an Elite Eight. Think about Richie Saunders, right? This is a guy that we thought we were going to get, and all of a sudden he stayed at BYU. I think he dropped 31 points last night. Like, this guy's come in and made him even better. Like, he's elevated.
He's a dog.
What's so sad is to watch. Cal has left, and Arkansas has gotten better since Cal's got there, and Mark Pope left BYU, and BYU's gotten better since Mark Pope left, and we've went downhill. Like, it's a worst case scenario right now. Give me those two. I'm betting on Todd Golden. I that was my favorite pick before we ended up hiring Mark Pope. But Kevin Young is starting to impress me. Like, maybe we can try it. one too early on BYU.
Yeah, that's interesting. Mason.
Yeah. So first name I'm gonna throw out here, I'm gonna go with TJ. I don't even know how you say it. Otzelberger at Iowa
Awesome
State.
burger.
Yep.
Oh man, you took mine, dude.
Man, I mean,
Boom.
like
Man.
what he's done at Iowa State the last couple years, I mean, he started off, came in, he took over a program, was not good at all. This year, I mean, he's gonna have 3 straight 25+ win seasons. I mean, they're undefeated
Yep.
this year. He's come in, he's turned them into a powerhouse. I think he coaches the right way. His teams play hard. I think if he comes to Kentucky and gets
Defensive
that,
mind,
yep, he comes and he gets
tough.
that NIL money. I mean, he's the kind of guy that can go out and get some studs. And then my one that may not be realistic, but I mean, obviously he's just kind of come in. He's having a great year this year, but I really like Dusty May too. I mean, what he did at Florida Atlantic with that team that he had down there at FAU, he's come into Michigan. He's turned them into a powerhouse. And let's think about it this way too. I think this could be more realistic, possibly just because think about Michigan in football. Like they're going to dump a lot of their NIL in football. Come on over to Kentucky, baby. We'll give you all the NIL you want. And I did see something earlier today that going back to the NIL thing, like, Pope's going back and forth with these like kind of things on kids and we're not gonna pay you this much or this person offered me more. Oh, we're not doing that. We're not getting bid battles. I saw something that the Axel Linden board got paid $2.3 million and we paid Jaden Quaintance $2 million. We couldn't pay that man $300,000 more and we're gonna go with a guy who's coming off an ACL injury. Like, what are we doing?
What are we paying Trent Noah? Like, what are we give his money up? I'm sorry, I love Trent Noah. I'm just saying, like,
Probably his
let's be
family's
realistic.
electric bill.
Yeah, let's be realistic. I mean, I guarantee you, Trent Noah is probably through endorsements and everything else. I would almost bet he's making at least he's probably making 150. He might be making 300,000. DB. He really might be.
I mean, I bet he is.
I bet he is
Yeah, I
too.
bet he is too.
That's disgusting.
I would think it's higher. I really do.
How much did we pay
it's
the pro Croatian that we're not even playing anymore to come over here? How much? Well, you know what I'm saying? We can't give some guy an extra. Like, take theirs.
Yes.
DD, who's yours?
Since Mason took mine, I'm gonna just to make it a little different. I do like TJ, but Tommy Lloyd would be
Oh yeah,
on my
Arizona.
list.
Mm-hmm.
Fiery
Yeah.
dude. I know his tournament resumes here and there, but he gets dudes, and he's always winning 25 games in a tough conference. My sleeper is because I believe in slimy coaches. Is Will Wade. Give me the slime.
Hey,
I like that.
Give me the craziness.
I
Give
like
me the
it. I
craziness,
like Will
man.
Wade.
You listen to this guy's post-game interviews, man. He's all for the guys. But you also watch him in game. It doesn't matter if it's Darren Williams, who they probably paid $3 million to. If he's out there not doing what Will Wade wants to be done, he'll sit on the bench the rest of the game. He doesn't care. I think
like
Will
that.
Wade with a
I
bunch
like
of
Will
money.
Wade a lot.
I mean, Will Wade
What?
found a way to get money at LSU when it wasn't legal. Imagine what he's going to do with $20 million, guys. He's going to go crazy.
He got Ben Simmons to LSU.
He's going to go crazy. Nas Reed, I mean,
Yeah.
49.
Get that man a
49.
lick.
Y'all made it really hard on me. That's what I get for going last. I mean, I'm just going to feed off what Mason said. My first one realistic was TJ Otzelberger out of Iowa State too. Right now, his record in the 4 years he's been there, he's 110-45, has a win percentage of 710. He's made 2 Sweet 16s. He's going to make a deep run this year. His defensive mind, he's tough, and then my backup was Tommy Lloyd as well. And then, like, you're going to have these people who are listening are like, what are they do? Like, who are these people? Like, why are they not saying, like, Nate Oates? And like, let's be realistic. Nate Oates is not going to leave Alabama to go to Kentucky. I don't think. There's no way, especially what's transpired. I just don't see that happen. Bruce Pearl's another name that people are going to be like, why? He's not going to go. He's not going to coach against his son. He's done. I would love to have either one of those. That'd be great gets. But I think you're looking at Todd Golden. That's a realistic possibility. Like, Florida is, yes, they are. They just won a national championship. But Florida's not Kentucky basketball. Now, people are, and I got to be careful whenever whenever we keep saying, well, it's not Kentucky basketball, because we're not Kentucky basketball right now, but it's still different. It is. So when you're looking at realistic possibilities, you have to be like, there's a small pool of the people that you're going to want to get that's realistic, that has a resume, because we're not going to do what we've done already with Mark Pope. I can tell you right now, the mid-majors, like not mid-major, but like what would you even consider BYU? That's not a mid-major. Would you all consider that how would you, I guess, define like not your like big time schools that's very well known? Like we're not going to dip into that pool with a coach who's been there, who's not proven that they can win. Like they have to prove. And that's what we've done. I mean, that's what we went. We went for a guy who didn't win a NCAA tournament game, and we're eating a lot of our words right now. Was it real quick question? Was it a mistake not only getting a guy who hadn't had a proven resume, but also a guy who was an alumni? Do y'all think that was a mistake too?
Almost never works out. In any situation, it almost never works out.
I just think he's so connected. I think he's too connected. Like, I just think he's too emotionally connected. I just do. I think he is. I think he's too worried about it. Oh boy, we lost Dylan. Well, I mean, I think he's too connected. I think we had that. Let me ask you this. This was a question I wanted to pull up earlier while we're just sitting here in case Dylan comes back on. But who do you think deserved, like, yes, Cal's performance over the last 4 or 5 years deserved criticism for not winning more tournament games. That's all fair, 100%. Do you think that Cal's criticism was more warranted, or Pope's current criticism is more warranted?
I think Pope's, because I really wasn't on that Cal train, really.
I wasn't either. I mean, they know it. I mean,
the thing we're learning now is, like, at least with Cal, and this was a bad way to look at it, but with Cal, like, if you're halfway through the season and it's kind of shaky, you're like, oh, well, maybe we still have a chance, but look what we have coming next year. With Pope, it's like, all right, we're terrible, we're terrible, we're terrible. And then you try to look for next year, and it's like, okay, how many of these guys are going to transfer? We have no freshmen coming in. So all summer, we're just going to be guessing on what we're doing. Cal said it best. He's like, everybody wants transfers. I'm still going to go get my freshman. And this Arkansas team that he has is a classic Calipari team.
Cal team.
He's got two freshman studs, and he's got some pieces around him. And now I want him back.
I wish. I mean,
Can y'all hear me? Am I in now?
We just kept going.
I don't know. Something happened to mine. Mine updated tonight too. I don't know what's going on. Before we move into football, let's close it up with this. DB, I want your closing statement, because everybody knows where we stand on Cal. But you're new you're new here. So what was your entire standpoint on this whole situation? You don't have to get in depth, but with the Cal Pope, was it a mistake to run him out of town? Like, where did you stand on all that? Was you ready to give up Cal?
That's what we kind of just hit on. No, I wasn't. Like, was I critical? Yeah. But at the end of the day, I mean, this guy, look how much success we had. Like, the only thing I was afraid of was we let go of Tubby, which probably was warranted. It kind of flared out. I get it. And then we hire an experiment with Billy G. And what happens? Then you land Cal. He wins a natty. Probably could have won a couple more. But either way, you were going to the Final Four. You always had something to look forward to the next season with freshmen. And now we're in a position that's like, this guy may not even be able to recruit. So, I miss Cal. I wish he was still here.
Here's my rebuttal to your answer to what Colton asked a minute ago. So, yes, I get that Cal had done great things, but he hadn't made a Sweet 16 since what, 2018, 2019?
Right, and let's just not count the COVID years.
He made a Sweet 16. Wait, when? 2019,
2018,
right?
I believe. 2019.
He made the Tyler Heroes team, and in all fairness, 2020, I think we fully believe that Tyrese Maxey, Quickly, and Hagan had a real chance of getting there too.
That team had a
Yeah,
good
and
chance.
and if
So,
my aunt had, well, she'd be my uncle. Like we're not
but
gonna know about
you
Texas.
agree with that? But Mason, so he had been
Okay,
to what?
but no, okay.
4
Back
Elite
to
Eights or
my
6
question.
Elite Eights?
Okay, but here's the thing. Okay, I get it. He done all that in the past. But if we're sitting here saying we hadn't made a Sweet 16 in 6 years, we're lowering the expectations. Let's keep him around. It's okay because he's done this in the past. You see what I'm saying here? Like we can't sit here and say because of what he done in the past, you can't sit here and say we're going to keep him around. He did that 10 years ago, but we're going to keep him around. We ain't made a Sweet 16 in 6 years. So that's why I think
Kansas should have fired Bill Self.
Maybe they should have.
Yeah.
Maybe they should have. That's why we're different. We're not going to settle for mediocrity.
I wish they would have.
We're not going to settle for mediocrity.
Well, no. We are settled. We did settle for that's false. We settled for mediocrity.
There is a legitimate chance we go below 500 with a $20 billion roster.
I understand that, and you know what? All this comes back to Mitch Barnhart. This all comes back to Mitch Barnhart. He should have been gone a long time ago. We probably wouldn't even be in this position if it wasn't for Mitch Barnhart.
You're right. We might have got a new basketball facility while Cal was in there. We might have got better done. Who knows? They were all against him.
It's just tough when you run out. Literally an active Hall of Fame.
It is. And the thing is, like, that's even rough. On the down years,
that's rough.
Like the years that we ended up getting beat early,
giving him a pass.
The best part was like, well, yeah, but like it is so sad to watch us put together a team that we know has zero chance of winning. Like that's just what I want to turn it on. Like there's zero chance of winning a national championship with this team. Like there's zero.
I agree,
and that's I'm not saying it's like Rick Shepard and them. It's so sad that we got it's frustrating, but like to watch Reed Shepard and them get beat to the first round. Yes, that's on cat. Yes, I'm off. I get the criticism, but man, give me that team back right now, and like I'll take my chances again.
All right, closing statements. Anybody else got anything to say before we move on? All right, let's get into football then. Colton, Mason, whichever one of you is doing it, take it away.
Go ahead, Bulldog. What's the score right now, though?
27-24.
Oh man, they both just had big long drives. But yeah. So in the portal news, Will Stein has been to work. I mean, he has been bringing in multiple recruits.
Back.
Oh man,
yeah,
he's
coming back.
I think he's going to be a very good tight end. I mean, he made some great catches, some NFL type catches this year. Those kind of 50-50 balls that he went up and got. Yeah, so I'm excited for him coming back. Steins went and got a couple of good linemen. I mean, he's getting recruits left and right. And we did
number
bring
one
in
center in the portal.
Yep, we did. And we did bring in a quarterback. I know the name Sam Levitt was floating around. Everyone was kind of thinking, are we going to get it? And then the next thing we know, all of a sudden, the next day or so, like they're still saying, oh, Levitt's on campus still. Levitt's on campus. And the next day, we signed Kenny Minchie, the backup at Notre Dame this past year. Kenny Minchie, a former 4-star, the number 2 rated quarterback out of the state of Tennessee, 14 overall national rank coming out of the class of, I want to say 2024, something like that, coming out of the class of 2024, number 14th overall in national, 6'2", 208 pounds, big arm, known for like being able to stand in the pocket, make pressure throws. Here's my thing. I don't know a lot about the guy. Obviously, they had a pretty good freshman quarterback in Carr this year. And Notre Dame probably should have maybe been in the playoffs. I mean, I wasn't exactly for that, but they were right there at it. They probably didn't be because of their schedule. But that's still, with the freshman QB, they were right there at it. All I know is that I think Stein knows quarterbacks. And of all the different guys that have entered the portal, if this is a guy that he was like, let's get him in here right now with all the other ones that are out there kind of currently, who am I to say that this isn't the guy? Like, there's got to be something about him for I think the Stein to pull the trigger this fast. He did actually commit to Nebraska like earlier this week or last week, and literally turned around and flipped this. One day and flipped this commitment, and they were really very excited. Will Compton of the Bussing with the Boys was very excited for Nebraska, and he was so mad. So mad.
Did y'all see the video of him?
Yeah. I mean, hilarious. So they really liked him there. So if Stein likes him that much to pull the trigger that fast, who am I to, I think he sees something in him. Like, I think there's something there for him to do that. Well, but that's about all I know about him. What y'all have any thoughts or know anymore?
Well, it's like you said, he knows quarterbacks. He said about like Dylan Gabriel and Bo Nix. Those guys transferred for a reason. They were considered broken goods. And now Bo Nix is looking for a Super Bowl run. Dylan Gabriel had a really good year. Not sure why they ever benched him. But Frank Harris at UTSA, I mean, I watched him play against Western. He's a stud. So I trust what he's doing. Cutter probably wanted too much money, and he was like, deuces, I'll get my guy. So I don't know. I mean, I'm optimistic about it. If we go 5-7, I wouldn't be shocked with the schedule. But
Right.
it's going to get tougher. It's going to get tougher. I mean, you're playing 9 conference games now. So it is what it is. But I'm excited about it.
From what I gathered and have heard and read on Cutter, I forgot the amount that
Two.
we offered him, but was it 2?
No, Arizona State offered him 2.
Yeah, Arizona State, yes. And where was we at? We was at
I
like
think it was at like 1.2.
1.2.
Yeah, something like that. He
Yeah.
was like, "Is there anybody I'll get
And
closer?" And yeah, basically, we were like, "No." He was like, "All right, deuces." But
yeah,
no,
I'm right there with you, Colton. I mean, like, I'm not. Go ahead, Mason.
No, I was just gonna say I don't know a whole lot about like the guys that we brought in yet. I've seen some stuff floating around out there, but I mean, you gotta trust the guy, right? Like y'all both said, him building these quarterbacks and what he's done with them and putting them in the league. I did see the wide receiver we got from UAB. I don't know how true this is, but it said he didn't drop a single pass last season, which is really impressive if he didn't drop a single pass all season long. And we get somebody who can throw the ball to him. Maybe we have a stud go-to receiver we can have out there. We got that running back from Oklahoma. Is that where he came from? I don't know much about him, but I mean, like we're picking up some guys. We're picking up some guys, that we may not have gotten in the past. So we're optimistic and excited. But like you said, DB, it's a tough schedule.
Yeah, and I think it goes back to Stein's whole model: feed the studs. Like, how can we sit here and question a guy who has put multiple guys in the league? He's known for the quarterback position. And ultimately, he has said everything, which I mean is the obvious, but it's just, it feels good to hear like everything's going to run through our quarterback. I know that's just that's the obvious, but like he understands, like, in order for Kentucky or any program to be good, most of the time, 99% of the time, you have to have an elite quarterback or a quarterback that is going to lead the charge. And I'm right there with you all. I mean, if this is his guy that he saw, I mean, yeah, I mean, I feel like we ultimately have he gets that. He gets that pass of like, okay, let's see, and then next year we'll see. And then that's whenever maybe we can be critical. And again, it's just like Mark Pope. I mean, if he comes in and he's not the guy, then yeah, I mean, you're ultimately, he's going to get a little bit of criticism because that was his pick. That was his guy. And that's a fair statement to ask. I think. I don't think that that's something that's crazy for Kentucky fans to, to be critical about, especially with the recruiting class that we've got coming in and the returners. So I think it's an exciting time for Kentucky football right now. I mean, obviously we have nothing going for us for basketball, so got to have something to look forward to. But go ahead, Cole.
Kentucky women's basketball.
Oh yeah, well, we talked a little bit about that on the live feed. What a win at LSU!
Did they come back and win tonight? They were down to Alabama at halftime. Did they win? You might know.
I don't know. Is Alabama ranked?
I don't think so, but they were down like 7.5.
Game.
Yeah, I think we were just playing bad.
I don't know. If they call this review stands, that might be the greatest catch I've seen.
That was insane.
That might be
was
the
it
best
Tony?
Catch. Oh no, I got overturned. That's crazy, but that was almost the best catch. Yeah, that was almost the best catch I may have ever seen. I was just kind of trying to stay here and not say anything while I was sitting here on the podcast, like, what's going on? But yeah, so but we are talking about the Miami Ole Miss game. They are down to their final minute 26. Ole Miss leads 27-24. it's tomorrow night. Indiana plays Oregon. Will Stein is playing for a Final Four with a trip to maybe take a team. To me, that can only help bring in more recruits, right? You're seeing a guy, Oregon wins tomorrow night, goes to a national championship game. Uh, who, and when he leaves, how many of those guys that love playing for him that might want to follow him? How many other guys are kind of like, hey, man, this was the offensive coordinator for just the current, a national championship contender. I mean, I think
And also
this
might
can
want a
only
bigger
help
role.
us, right? This can only help us. So I'm all for. I'm rooting for Oregon. I'm not going to be mad if Indiana wins. I think it's kind of a cool story. To be honest with you, because like I don't like Indiana, but in the same way, I'm kind of like when you think about Kentucky football. To me, if you look at Vandy's success and Indiana's success, like to me that has to be goals for Kentucky, right? Because like you can't tell me that Indiana's NIL and football is as much as just as like way more than theirs. So if Indiana can do that,
Yeah.
or I mean Vanderbilt can do that, like come on now. So to me that's go. So it's kind of cool to see them because I'm like, hey, maybe one day that that can be us.
I completely agree, but I'll never cheer for Indiana.
Yeah, I mean that's hard to
Same.
cheer for, but I mean,
I will
I
say
kind of do.
before the
I
basketball
kind of do like
season,
Mendoza.
I said if Kentucky basketball lost every single game but beat Indiana, it would be a good year.
Well,
That's how
they
bad I
beat
hate
Indiana,
DB.
and I still am. DB, it's easy for us to sit here and for Kentucky fans say at this point, yes, like we want Will Stein to win. But going back to the first game of the college football playoff, going into that game, did you want Will Stein to lose and get to Lexington, or have you always been on go as far as you can, winning?
No, go as far as you can because after watching the Lane Kiffin drama, these coaches still they committed at the beginning of the season to do a job. As long as that job is still going, which would be still playing, you owe it to the guys you're coaching. And I think it goes back to what Colton was saying. These guys are going to see Coach Stein riding with them till the very end, and that you gain respect. So I don't care if he coached all the way to June if Oregon was still playing.
Mason, right now, if Ole Miss wins this game, I mean, serious, do you deep down think Lane is happy about that? Or do you think deep down he's like, wants it to keep it close, but would like to see them lose?
Lane Kiffin, he wants them to lose. type of man he is. Like he's over here, he's at a different school now. He's like, no, I don't want y'all to win anything.
But he still earns his bonuses.
He does.
That's the
He
only
still
I
gets
mean, I will
bonuses
say-
if they win.
that's the only
I will
But more
say,
so than that, though,
he-
Mason, I'm just talking like, okay, you didn't need me, like on that like part of it, like, oh no, like they're proving that they didn't need me. Like I'm talking about more of that, like kind of not that I'm at a new school. I get that, but I'm talking about from the perspective like, oh man, it's kind of like
Oh.
what if you're playing on the basketball team, Mason, like, and you're the stud, and then like you go out and it's like y'all lose, you're like, oh, say you needed me. But then you win, and you're like, man, they don't need me.
No,
Like-
that's what I was saying about like his personality too. Like he's so cocky that he thinks that he did everything
don't
and it's
care.
because of him. And yeah, like at this point, I think yes, he probably doesn't want them to win because of that because he feels like he's the best and that's just his personality, right? Like nobody's better than me. You can't do what I do, but yeah, I definitely don't think he wants them to win except for the money.
Colton, did you just see that Ole Miss fan like he was praying, like he legit was on his knees praying with the arm brace?
I got a bad
yeah,
feeling
on
I'm about to
TV.
lose this game.
Oh, they're on the 10-yard line,
10
first
yard
down,
line, 30 seconds
first
left,
and
down
go.
by 3. Miami is.
Ugh.
Yeah,
Well, let's get into
not-
tomorrow night's game. Colton, lead us into that, and then that's what we'll close with.
Yeah, so obviously Indiana's the number 1 seed coming off an absolute beatdown of Alabama. Oregon's also coming off a very dominant performance, winning 23-0 over Texas Tech. I think this is going to be an interesting matchup. I think it'll be whoever can jump on them early because I do not think Oregon's offense is. I think Oregon's offense is more balanced this year than they have been in the past. Like normally they've been like a high flying offense, but not really that physical. I do think they are physical. However, the running back Jordan Davison is out tomorrow night with a broken collarbone. But truth be told, I think Indiana's really good on the offensive and defensive line. Like they are really good. I mean, they have an All-American at left tackle. Uh, and I mean, they just got some guys. They run the ball well. They win in the trenches, and I mean, I think they're very well coached. So to me, I'm still taking Indiana because I think they'll make it physical. And so I'm going to say Indiana wins like 27-22 or something.
DB, who you got?
Indiana.
Well, any elaborate, or you just simple as that? Indiana.
Just Indiana, man. They're too well coached, man. I like Oregon, but I mean, you watch Indiana play football, they do not make mistakes.
Yeah, they don't make mistakes.
There's no room for
Mason?
error.
Yeah, I've been doubting Indiana all year, not really picked them and wanted to ride with them, but I think at this point you have to. Like Colton said, I just think they're too good in the trenches, and they're going to end up outlasting Oregon. I think Oregon's good too, and that's who I'm going to be pulling for. But I think Indiana's going to win.
Yeah, I'm right there with y'all. I think it's Indiana. I think what this game's going to come down to is who doesn't make the mistakes, what kind of DB was talking a little bit about. And Indiana, from start to finish, all throughout the year, they went to Oregon, beat them. They beat Ohio State. Like, they've proven they have a great head coach right now in Signetti. Like, they just don't mess up. And they have a great quarterback, Mendoza, Heisman winner. Has a good head on his shoulders. I think IU all the way. I think they're going to eventually move on, whoever they play, whether it be Miami and Ole Miss. And I think they, honestly, in the championship game, I think they win by 2 touchdowns. Like, I just think that they are legit.
I'm sure.
Cohen's arms go up. I'm assuming that Carson Beck scores. Yep, right here. And wow, what a turnover for Carson Beck if they move on to win this game, or probably going to, and then advance to the championship game. Wow.
Oh, my boy Zach has got to be going through it right now.
Yeah, we got to check up on Zach.
Oh gosh.
Well, hey, for those who have tuned in tonight, appreciate you all. DB, I know it's a little later for you all. Thank you for coming in and coming on here on the podcast. We'll have to get you back on here. For those who are the Cats fans with us, hey, we're going through this together. Ultimately, at the end of the day, we want Kentucky to succeed. We're just critical because I think it's just realistic right now to be that way. But hey, as always, go Cats.
Go Cats.
That's a wrap for this episode of Bluegrass State of Mind. If you enjoyed the show, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe so you never miss an episode. Also, be on the lookout for our social media pages and be sure to follow them. We've got plenty more stories, insights, and conversations coming your way. And if you really loved it, make sure to share it with a friend. From the hills to the hollers, thanks for tuning in. Until next time, keep that Kentucky spirit strong.